Welcome back to Super Sentai Review episode number 522. I think it's 22. No, 23. Now, I kind of mentioned this yesterday because this came by really wanting to do a new episode of the main show, but the summer I've been checking every week, and now it's been subbed. Hooray! We're going to talk about basically the sole movie for this particular series. I think I did hear something. There's going to be a following movie for Gozyuger after the show wraps up, where apparently it's going to be a crossover, which I think it might be the last crossover for Sentai, given the fact next year it's going to be Project Red. This is basically called TegaSword's Resurrection. Now, the thing with this movie is, it's a similar take to a Gal Ranger movie. Oh, saving a princess. Here we're saving Tengu's sword. So we start with Haru, another one of his jobs, which he might get fired from, selling shaved ice at a beach. Not a bad idea to do. And of course, his whole team, minus basically Polar, shows up. Yeah, he's keeping an eye on the half-century cafe, offering his services as a god to a bunch of old ladies. Which I'm sure he's older than they are, given the fact that he was in a dimension for apparently for 10,000 years, whatever. So everything is going good, and then all of a sudden, Fire Candle, as bored as ever, decides to attack the Gozyugers. So they transform, brings his grunts, and they fight for a while. Actually, the movie starts before that, where we have a member of the Calamity, which this is one that predates the one seen in the main show. This is called Pleiades. He's a blue figure, where he actually defeats Tengu's sword. Yes, he beats him by stealing his ring that makes the power his heart, and then the five main Gozyugers, not Polar, get transported where Tengu's sword, which by the way is not the robot graveyard, which actually was seen in the previous episode of the show. Which, now the thing that I'm going to before I continue this, is one of my questions I have for the robot graveyard. Now, I should point out though that these rings do have the ability to revive the dead Megazords. But throughout this whole show, we technically only had 3 ever revived. First was Daijujin, which that was hard to get in the show. There's also been Gao King, the main mech from Gao Ranger, and also the mech for Shurikenger. Yes, these 3 are the only ones been revived, aside maybe Tengu Sword himself. And like, you have all these mechs, and you're not going to revive them? That would be nice. But no, not really. It's kind of interesting. Also, people have a criticism toward this series, like, oh, they killed the Red Ranger. They killed They kill Tyranno Red. Well, the guy who was the ring bearer for him. Yeah, that's a misconception. If anybody tells you that, oh, they killed him off, and that's why they won't adapt this for, this is why we passed the Power Rangers. Well, I explained when I reviewed these episodes, I'm going to explain it here again, that he's not dead. He lived. He was briefly brainwashed, so he took control of Daijujin, which made it to Universal Daijujin, which is a combination of like three or four different mechs, including basically the Gozyuger mech. So, he's alive. He lost his ring, but he's able to live and basically get... He mentioned like once afterwards, where he gives basically the Gozyuger the boxes to hold all the rings in, and that's the last you see of him. Like, he's just a researcher into Sentai history, which is quite nice. And apparently the actor who plays him, he actually was a big fan of Zyuranger. He's a big fan of the show when he was a kid. So, basically, and then of course, because it's the Calamity, we have to basically bring back a whole bunch of dead grunts. Yes. I kid you not, he brings back some dead grunts. some of whom I've never seen before. And you're probably thinking, Nick, what do you mean by that? Well, like I've said before, I've technically not seen all of the Sentai series released. I mean, I'm still technically working on Lopa Ranger versus Panther Ranger. I recognize one grunt, so I just recently saw them. Oh, by the way, for this movie in particular, this movie does have Mai Iamori as their character. Before they decided to fire her for underage drinking, which I know that Toei has received a lot of flack for it. Like, oh my gosh. And the fact her studio basically fired her because she dared drink underage. I get the fact, yes, that it's illegal to drink under this particular age, but she should not be charged for that. That's not a freaking charge. If I were there, I would basically, the person who basically served her the drink should be arrested. Not this, whatever basically this is. It's kind of stupid. So, by the way, the movie itself completely unaffected by the reshoots. And, in my honest opinion, and this is honestly really freaking true with this movie, it is probably by far better than some more recent episodes. At least you don't have outrageous editing. Yeah, seriously. So, by the way, the placement of this movie is between 26 and 27. Yeah, so, so the grunts. So here's ones we have. You have the Nazrata, which actually from the recent Boom Boom Manger series. Yeah, the previous one. Well, look up. I've seen that one, so I was very familiar with these guys. You have the Anoa, which I kind of am familiar with these guys because I did watch a little bit of Dawn Brothers. The Powdermen, who are from Loop Ranger and Panther Ranger. Yes, I'm very familiar with these guys because I'm currently watching right now. The Jackaroach from Ninjanger. Great to see these guys. Combat Clothes. These guys are from TegaSword, which I think was the first. This actually was the most recent time they've been seen. And I think last time they were seen prior to this actually was in a flashback episode for TegaSword. The Gorman Soldiers, which is from Gozyuger. Yep. Demon Blood Soldiers B. This is from Gozyuger. The Nashai Company. This is from their grunts from Shurikenger. The Barbaric Machines Soldiers Ugi. They're from Goanger. The Androids, which from Deca Ranger. Zombies, obviously from Magi Ranger. Gen Magarapa, which are from Hurricane, which, yes, they did pop up in Ninja Storm. Junk Droid Zenith. Time Ranger, obviously. Kairos. These guys are from Die Ranger. Great to see these guys. And Dodoros, which are from Kaka Ranger. You're thinking, okay, now there was one set of grunts I saw here that I'm like, who the heck are these guys? No, not them. Okay. And I'm gonna have to stop right here because supper is ready. Okay. Not happy with this, but I'll see you when I get back.